All right. Hi, everyone. This is Kerem Baran with Solar Academy. I am here today with Billy Christie of Trina Solar. Billy is Director of Engineering at Trina. We're both joining the show today from San Diego, sunny San Diego, and we will talk about Trina, which is one of the main, largest, oldest solar module manufacturers in the world. And but before we get into Trina and its latest technology innovations, especially as it relates to extreme weather conditions and resilience related products, is really what we're going to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about Billy's background as well. So, Billy, with that, can you tell us a little bit about how you found yourself here in San Diego working for Trina? Maybe we start earlier on in your career or education
Yeah,
and what brought you?
for sure. Yeah, thanks for having me, Kareem. I actually grew up in New York, so out on Long Island. Went to school in upstate New York, state school called
Yeah,
SUNY Binghamton.
yeah,
It was a
I
great
noticed that on
school.
your LinkedIn. Yeah,
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 great school, but very cold and snowy and
yeah,
rainy and miserable. So
yeah.
after I graduated there, I moved out to San Diego, and so that was a nice change of pace. So
Hmm.
I actually got my first job in solar while I was driving across the country. My car broke down in Colorado. It was around Thanksgiving time. I was calling
Hmm.
all around trying to find a job. Someone asked if I could be in San Diego again for after Thanksgiving. They thought I lived there already. I, in fact, did not, but
Yeah,
I said, yeah, I'll be there. And so got started with Solar City at that point. So for those who don't know, Solar City was kind of a big national player, mostly in
yeah,
residential solar, but also some CNI back in the
yeah.
day. So that was kind
One
of
of
my
the
start.
earliest,
Yep,
biggest players in residential solar, along with Sunrun and some others. Yeah, run by,
definitely.
started by Elon, run by his cousins, had
Yep,
his ups and downs. Eventually
yep,
folded under Tesla, but yeah, it definitely did a lot of good things.
for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, I started there as a residential PV designer, which was a great way to kind of get my foot in the industry and meet a ton of people. Still very good friends with a lot of the people I worked with here in San Diego at Solar City.
Mm.
Um, and so yeah, I started there as a residential PV designer. My boss eventually became a structural engineer. He got promoted kind of along that track. And so there was an opening for a manager in the Resi PV space in San Diego, and I was selected for that. So yeah, about a year in, I was managing other residential designers. And again, it was kind of a great way to just see how the projects go from origination all the way to construction and dealing with issues after construction and whatnot. All of that kind of came by my desks, which was a good experience. But like you said, the company had some ups and downs. Solar in general does, and certainly
Mm.
residential solar. So eventually, those were not the most fun to deal with. And I also just kind of wanted to move to the next best thing, which I saw as commercial solar. I kind of wanted to work on larger projects, different projects. The residential projects back then got a little cookie cutter eventually, and
Yeah.
you're doing 10 designs a day. They all look very similar, and just kind of wanted to see something else. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I was at Solar City for around 2.5, maybe 3 years, and then moved to a company called Borrego Solar.
Yeah.
They're based here in San Diego, but also had a really large presence on the East Coast in Massachusetts, and also an office up in the Bay Area in Oakland. They were a EPC business, so engineering, procurement, construction. They also had a development arm, and then eventually built out an O&M arm. And so kind of did everything in the CNI and eventually kind of small scale utility space. So started there as a project engineer and followed a similar path. The company grew a bunch. They needed kind of someone to step into a leadership position for project engineers. I filled that and then kind of just grew with the company. We brought in some in-house designers, uh, professional engineers, some interconnection specialists, and I kind of managed all those for the West Coast of in the western half of the U.S. So really good experience there too. The project engineering role I started in, we took the projects from contract all the way till PTO, and so saw everything that was involved between those two phases. And yeah, it was a great way to kind of learn about permitting, construction, RFIs, dealing with issues in the field, permitting, again, big nightmare, and dealt with a lot of that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really kind of gave me good insight into the CNI and small scale utility side of the industry.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, eventually Borrego stopped performing EPC work. COVID was kind of tough on supply chain and just tough on EPCs in general. And so they shut down back in, I want to say 2022, end of 2022. And so I was looking for new opportunities, and that's when I moved over to Trina. So what I thought would work really well, and what has worked really well, is bringing my past experience to a module manufacturer,
Yeah.
because I was essentially working for what was a customer of these module manufacturers, and so
Yeah.
bringing my point of view and my experience, kind of being the voice of the customer within Trina, has worked really well. So yeah, what I do
Nice.
at Trina, I kind of work on two distinct separate sides of the business right now that we're eventually merging towards kind of one package solution. So we'll talk about that near the end of this conversation. But on the module
Mhm.
side, which is certainly our bread and butter and what we're known for, I manage the U.S. based product management team, and so it's a lot of sales support. It's getting the products certified as they kind of are developed. It's a lot of testing with third-party agencies, which we'll talk about, and kind of just being the technical experts within Trina to support our customers when we're selling products or after they're sold and folks are installing them. So that's kind of it on the
Mhm.
module side. I also am kind of rearing up a tracker division here at Trina. Again, we'll talk about this a little more near the end, but Trina's long-term goal is to be able to provide a kind of complete solution for our customers, so they don't have to go
Yeah.
to a bunch of different customers to get, or different companies to get all the different parts of their projects. We obviously have the modules already. We have a tracker product that's been being installed across the world for quite a while now, and we have a relatively new storage product as well. And so on the tracker side, I manage a team of pre-sales engineers, product managers, and project managers that take the project from early stages, do all the initial design and layout, handle the quoting, take the project through contracting,
Yeah.
and then support the kind of logistics of getting the material to site and helping our EPC customers and developer customers build and install these projects. So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of see both parts of the business, and it's been great. I've really enjoyed
Right.
it thus far.
Thanks. Thank you very much for that background.